Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to play a game. So, with that shitty tagline out of the way, last night I got back from a screening of Saw X. And this is obviously the 10th installment of the Saw franchise overall. And so this film takes place in between Saws 1 and 2, so it's prequel, which this is the first prequel of the series, surprisingly. You'd think like they'd do that already. Considering, I mean, the last movie was a spin-off. So yeah, they're doing a lot of the world expanding things with this series now. So, Saw X follows John Kramer, Jigsaw himself, as he is being told by his doctor, you don't have a lot of time left. So John decides to go out and finish what he started, when suddenly he's approached by a friend at a cancer support group, and that person tells John, hey, there's this person who can help treat your condition, because they helped me treat mine. And John takes him up on this offer, so he has to go down to Mexico City to get it done. But John finds out that later his medical treatment was a scam. They didn't do anything, and John is still dying. So John decides to enlist the help of his accomplice and apprentice, Amanda, from Saws 1, 2, and 3, to help kidnap the the phony doctors, and put them through this big Saw game. And that's the basic plot, all you need to know. And non-spoiler review, I really like this movie. It is a lot better than the previous 3 movies. Because for me, I love those first 6 Saw films, and I'll get more into it when I do a big video going through every single film. But I really liked the first 6. Then 7 came along, pissed me off. It was really bad. Then Jigsaw came out. It was better, but it still pissed me off. And Spiral came out, and I thought that one was okay. But Saw X was a lot better. Again, it's not a perfect movie. It has a few issues, but we'll get to those later. But yeah, definitely a much better entry in the series, and it's probably tied with my favorite, which I'm not going to say here because I want to save that for the Saw video, like when I rank the franchise. But yeah, this one is definitely tied with my favorite. It may even surpass my favorite. So, let's get into what makes this film so good. And I think the best part of it is the acting, specifically from Tobin Bell, John Kramer. He gives a performance in this film that's so good that it made me feel bad for him, even though he's the guy kidnapping people and putting them into death machines. But his acting in this is so good that it legitimately made me feel bad for him. Like, the scene where he goes back to the clinic and he finds out that his treatment was fake, and he has like a pseudo mental breakdown, thinking, oh shit, I'm not safe, I'm fucked still. Like, it's not like making me cry, obviously, because I'm not gonna cry for this person, but I did feel bad for him. Because like, he just wanted more time for his life, and he thought that these people could help, and they fucked him over. Now, I'm not huge into knowing about this, but I'm pretty sure medical scams like this have existed before. I might be wrong on that, but this just seems like something that has happened before to actual people. Obviously, scams are a thing, and they can fuck up people's lives, so. But yeah, it's kind of. And they play a lot with the fact that John fell for this, even though because he's like a brilliant man. So, but another thing that I think works in this movie is they have the people in the traps this time are actually really bad people, like the scammers who are scamming dying people who are not only like bad people, they're probably even worse than John, because like John, yeah, he kidnaps and puts people into death machines, but he at least allows them the chance to get out and live. These people are just scamming people for money and then just leaving them to die. It's like they stab them, take their money, leave. That's basically what these people are doing. So I like the fact that John is not the worst person here. Now, getting to another thing I really liked about this one is the gore and the traps. This movie is so uncomfortable to watch, but it's like that good uncomfortable. It's that uncomfortable where like you're squirming in your seat, you're balling your fist up as these people are like sawing their own legs off to get bone marrow out, or the dude who has to like perform brain surgery on himself to get a chunk of his brain out. It is so difficult to watch, and it's that good. It makes you feel uncomfortable, but in a good way, to where like I'm supposed to feel uncomfortable watching this, and it does that great. And the practical effects team, like, this series has always been amazing with practical effects and gore. Like, this series has some of the best kills I've ever seen in any horror film. And it's so good here. There's not that many kills in this one, I will say that. I counted about 6 or 7. So it's definitely lighter on the kill side, but holy shit, they go for broke with this one. It's definitely a quality over quantity with this one. And I'll just go through the traps and which one was my favorite. I'll probably say my favorite one's either the brain surgery one or the eyeball one that's on the poster with the dude with the tubes in his eyes. And spoiler alert, that trap may not even be real. It's the first trap you see in the movie. It's like right in the opening, and it's being done on a hospital janitor who was stealing people from the patients. And John sees this, and it cuts to the dude with the tubes in his eyes, and he's told he has to break all of his fingers. Like, he has to click this dial that would snap all of his fingers one by one. And he has to do it in 60 seconds before the tubes start sucking and pulling out his eyes. And he fails. He only gets 3 of his fingers done, and then the tubes, and you see them suck the eyes out, and you watch the eyes go through the tubes into this vacuum cleaner. And it's horrific. And the next trap is a guy who gets his arms strapped with bombs, and he has to cut them out with scalpels taped to his hands. And unlike a lot of the people in these movies, he actually does it and survives. He actually cuts them off and lives. And John rewards him for it. Well, I mean, he interrogates him a little bit more about everybody else. Then the next one is the wire saw trap, where a girl is fucking stuck to this it's not even really a table, it's more like a chair thing, and she has to saw her own leg off and extract bone marrow, enough bone marrow to release the clamps around her. And if she doesn't do it, she gets her head sawed off by another wire saw attached to gears and cables and shit. That trap is awesome. The kill itself isn't too painful to watch, but that moment of her sawing her leg off like this, it's just... It is painful to watch, man. And again, it's just that awesome, uncomfortable feeling. Then next up is the brain surgery trap, where the dude has to cut a piece of his brain out and put it in this enzyme tank for it to dissolve so he can get a key. He fails and gets his face toasted. It's like when you put... And his face is in this mask thing where it's of this Aztec thing. that was seen in the movie, and he fails it, and it heats up. It's like this toaster thing, and it clamps on his face, and you don't see his face like after when it's all burnt to shit, which that's either a good thing or a bad thing for some people. But yeah, again, it's mainly the part where he's actually having to cut a piece of his brain out. That's the painful part to watch. The next trap is a girl. She gets hoisted up from 2 chains, and she has to use this hammer to break her hand and foot while she's getting hit by a radiation gun. It's like this heat gun. It's basically like a gun that's firing microwave heat at you. And she has to do it before she's just completely like hit with all the radiation burns and shit. And she actually does it. She doesn't get to live though. Is the final person, the head doctor, who is a complete bitch, but she's like the main villain. Like, she's the person who is worse than John. She gets out of her trap because, like, her, spoiler alert, her, like, lover or husband, they don't really explain, comes in and frees her, and then she just freaking just snaps the neck of the girl who just broke her hand and foot and is now covered in radiation burns. She just calmly walks over and snaps her neck because she wanted John to suffer. And the final trap of the movie is the head doctor puts John in her trap, which with a innocent little boy who had nothing to do with this, who was seen earlier in the movie. And they are like in this teeter-totter of bloodboarding where like a person can sacrifice themselves and be bloodboarded to death to save the other. And that is a horrific way to die. It doesn't kill anybody. Like, John and the boy get out of the trap, but being killed by bloodboarding, that is a horrific way to go. It's not gory, but man, it's a fucked up way to go. And by the end of the movie, it's revealed that John knew everything. So this is one of my negatives. It's not really a huge negative, but it's like a nitpick that kind of breaks the logic a little bit. Is John somehow knew, well, like, they explain how he knows, because like the guy who had to cut the bombs off his arms told him that the head doctor's lover was in on this too. And so John planned it out that he would come, and he booby-trapped his headquarters, which that's not hard to believe. John's done that before. But John somehow knew he would be put into the bloodboard trap. So he rigged the shackles on the trap so he could unlock them easily, because he somehow knew he would be thrown in that. That seems a little too convoluted for me. Like, John's a smart man who thinks like 3 steps ahead, but I don't know, it just feels a little convoluted that it would go exactly how he wanted it to. Another negative I'm going to put here is that Shawnee Smith, who plays Amanda, she's great in this, but some of her dialogue is a little too Joss Whedon. It's a little too quippy, and that gets a little annoying, but it's not overboarding. And honestly, I was expecting her to really only be in like maybe 3 scenes, but no, she's in a lot of this movie. But yeah, honestly, overall, Saw X, it's not only a good sequel, it's a great one. And I'd recommend seeing this in theaters. I really like this movie. But putting it into the old blood bag here, I'm going to give Saw X a 90%. A lot higher than what I was expecting, considering when this movie got announced, I was not interested at all, because Spiral, like I said, it wasn't a bad movie, it was just okay, but it kind of just drained my interest in the series. But then I heard what it was going to be. It was a prequel. And then I was still a bit iffy on it, but then the trailer came out and I was like, okay, I'll see this. And to leave some final words about this movie, this is a great prequel, and it's a great return to form. And actually, something I forgot to mention quickly before I end this video, this movie doesn't have a cop plot. Yeah, it doesn't have a cop plot. Normally, Saw movies always have a cop plot and trap plot. And this movie, I believe, is the first Saw movie to not have a cop plot. So that's interesting. Different from the series. But yeah, that's just something I forgot to mention. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed my review on Saw X. I do want to put out a video of me reviewing all the other Saw movies. Sometime, I don't know if it'd be before this year ends or at the start of the next year, but I would like to put a video about me reviewing all the Saw movies. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.